Hello people, I've just been out and doing some speed testing with this Rlaarlo 006 car. I'm going through a bit good, bad and ugly points now, and the driving from speedrun you can see later, but I can tell you the result. On 2S I got 68.7 kilometers per hour, that's 42.7 miles per hour. And on 3S I got 76.6 kilometers per hour, or 47.6 miles per hour. I did a few speed tests on 3S, and then I discovered that the GPS was not working, so I had to start again. So I think the battery was not fully charged. So I believe if the battery 3S was fully charged, I would probably get around 80 kilometers per hour. But this car is working okay. But one of the weak points of this car is the transmitter and receiver. Also the receiver is integrated in the ESC here. So you cannot change just the receiver, then you also have to change the ESC. But the problem is operation range. That's one of the point. On the website, Rlaarlo says you should get around 150 meters operation range, and they also say you should get 0.1 latency. But when I tested the car today, I only got about 60 meters operation range. I've seen on YouTube some people open the transmitter and I pull out the antenna, so it sticks out here or something like that. Maybe that could give the car a bit more operation range. Here is the antenna on the EC, so that's it's a short antenna. But really, if only 60 meters of operation range is all you get, that's really, really bad. Especially when the car is going as fast as 80 kilometers per hour. You will quickly lose the control over the car. So that's not good at all. That's almost like the ugly point. But also, the throttle response is very odd. You have to push the throttle a bit before the car starts to move, and then it starts to move very slowly. And that's good, but it should start it earlier, not like when you are pushing, not like in here. It should start it here very quickly, very little movement. So it's starting very slowly, almost like a crawler. Then you give more throttle and it starts to go faster, of course. But then you come in longer in, and suddenly it starts to go almost like maximum speed. So it's a bit odd. It also goes very slowly on reverse. It should go a bit faster on reverse. So the throttle is like the ketchup effect, they call it. You get very little, then suddenly it's almost like maximum speed. So that's also a really bad point. The steering is working all right, but when you're driving fast, because of the short wheelbase, the car is very hard to drive straight, and a very small movement on the steering wheel will give a big turn on the car, quickly turn. Also, the steering wheel is a bit hard to turn, I think. That's of course different. People will have different option on that, but it could be a bit more easier to turn the steering wheel. But most important is that when you turn the wheel, the response should be more smooth from the car, not jerking, like the wheels are almost like and it turns very quickly. Let's see if we have other points here. When the battery is low, the ESC turns suddenly off. and that happened to me today. So I lost the control of the car and I crashed the front into some sort of stone or wall. You can see that in the video. But I was driving a car on low power then, so that was not completely a surprise for me. But I think the car, before it turns the ESC completely off, should at least give you a bit time where it just drives slowly and you have also the steering, so you can at least take down the speed and steer a bit. Yes, let's see here. I have more points. Also, this is also a bit of the ugly side. That is that Rlaarlo on their webpage says that the car has all metal drive system, withstands huge torque for reliability during extreme bashing. So they're really saying that the drive system, drivetrain or what they call it, is all metal, and that should include a spur gear. I'm not sure, but I believe that some YouTubers that got the carbon fiber edition say that they have a metal spur. But I opened my car here and I got plastic spur. That's bad. But when Rlaarlo says on a website that it's got metal drivetrain, at least that's how I read their webpage. I think it's more on the ugly side again, that not deliver a car with a metal spur. It's not a big issue for me because I've already ordered a spur and everything, and that should be in metal, I think. But I also emailed Rlaarlo and see how they respond. I asked if all the cars comes with plastic spur or all the metal edition cars come with plastic spurs, or if it's just a bug or something not right with this car. So I couldn't report later when I get the response from Rlaarlo. I also opened the diffs. You have front diff and rear diff, and they were very dry, the diffs. There are a bit of grease in them, but very little. And the grease had just got stuck in some very small parts of the diff. It was not on all the wheels on the gears. So it was really running dry inside the diffs. So I added some grease. The diffs are not sealed, so you cannot have very light oil in them because it will probably just get out after a bit of running. So I added some grease. So that's also a bit of a bad thing, really. But on the good side, you have the possibility to have Droop on this car, Droop screws. So I added screws both to the front arms and the rear arms. And you do that because when you are bashing and jumping, if you don't have the Droop set up right, you're probably gonna start to break the shock ends here or down here. Because when jumping and the wheels are jumping up and down, you will get a lot of pull on the shocks. I've seen that before, like my older Arma Big Rock car. You often broke the shock ends. You couldn't set the Droop on the Arma Big Rock, no Droop screws. But here you have it. They are not installed when you get the car, at least not my car had them installed, but you get them included, so you just have to install them. So they are installed here, so that's a good thing. A bit of a bad thing, it's both bad and good, is the link rod ends. They pop out very easy. You see here, like here, this is the camber link or what is called, and this is the steering link. They are popping very easy out of the balls here. You notice this when you start to adjust your camber or your steering and you start to turn this. Typically you will see that they pop out. So if they pop out easy when driving, that's not good. But it's also good that they are not stuck really hard, and because if you have a bad landing, typically something will break. And if just a rod end pop out of the ball, that's very good because it's easy to just pop in again. I did see Mr. RC Garage guy on YouTube experience that when he was driving the Rlaarlo on the skate park. I think the link popped out 2 times, but it was just to pop in again and drive. I think he also said that you could take some shrink tube on the balls and heat it up so the shrink tube, the rubber, makes the balls a tiny bit larger, and then just pop in the link again, and then they will sit harder and more stuck, more fast. But I've not done anything of that, so you have to test if that is maybe a possible solution. If not, you could. It's not expensive to change to other rod ends really, so that could also be. But I have to drive the car more and bashing and see. They should not pop out when you are driving just on asphalt or sand or light bashing, but they can pop out if you have hit something on the side, or when you turn or slide on asphalt also. But it's both a good and a bit bad thing that they pop out. If they pop out too easy, it's bad. If they only pop out when you have sort of a crash, that's good because you then don't break anything, so you just pop it in again. The shocks are alright, I think, from the stock. I just adjusted the tension a bit by turning this. You can do that on every shock. But the shocks are alright. I did also open a shock just to see, and it have oil and everything. So it's okay. The body, I painted the body, as you can see, just because I wanted something different. It's a bit thin. It's not very solid. So if you're bashing and the car is going on the roof many times and hitting things, it will probably break easy. But it's not a big issue. But when I painted this body, I laid it down on an oven, on a warming oven, and it was just some warm air coming up, but that was enough. So it started to bend. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it started to bend and twist. So my body's not now completely as it is when you have it stuck. Not a big issue because you usually don't do that, warm up the body, but I did that when I painted the body. I talked about the steering. It's very nervous. I'm not sure. I think it's the servo, or if not, it's the transmitter and the receiver that is not giving the right signal out to the servo, because the steering is like you see when you steer, it's a bit twisting and going not smoothly like this in smooth motion. It's more so it feels a bit nervous when driving. And I also took the steering right down to 0 when doing a speed runs, because you don't want the car to turn much when you're going at maximum speed. But that's, yeah, it's a bit odd, the steering. Really, the transmitter receiver is really a weak point of this car. Also, again, you can't just change out the receiver because it's integrated in EC, so you have to change out the EC also if you want to change to new receiver. I had an issue with the steering also in the start, and that was probably my own fault, because I had tightened down this screw, and then when I was driving, the steering was working, but if I took the car to the right, it would not go back to 0 middle positions, so it then would turn a bit to the right when I got the steering back to the middle position. And if I turn to the left, the car would of course go to the left, and I return the steering to the middle position. The car then would still go a bit to the left. So the steering was not smooth. It was like it was binding up to something. So you turn to the right and you go to the middle, and it was still a bit to the right. And I looked into it and I found out that it was this screw here that was too tight. So if I did loosen this screw, then it was smooth and no binding at all. And it could be just me that have tightened that down too much. So look out for that if you have steering that are not, you have problems to get the car going straight. Of course, you first check the steering trim. And yeah, you know how that's working. So that's all I had to say. It's some good things about the car. The good things is also the speed, of course. It's crazy fast on 2S. But the engine is getting a bit hot also when driving 2S. Really, it's a bit too hot on 2S, especially when you're doing speed runs. On 3S, it's also a very fast car, about 80 kilometers per hour, or near 50 miles per hour. But I think it's not really built for 3S, because this engine is very hot. I'm not sure if the EC was not that hot when using 2S, so it looks like the EC is okay with 2S. Maybe also 3S, but the engine is really hot. So it's very fast and funny to ride, but a bit hard to steer because it responds so quickly. It's nice to have the bumper here. I see I'm missing one of these, not what they call it. But the bumper was really nice to have today. When the car shut down, when the battery was low on power, I crashed into this stone, as you can see in the video. So that probably saved me some broken parts. I'm not sure. Maybe the car could take it. Yeah, let's repeat the ugly points that Rlaarlo should respond on is: why do this metal edition car have a plastic spur? That should not be the thing. They say on the website that the drivetrain is all in metal, so you then expect also the spur gear to be metal. And then we have the issues with the transmitter receiver and the operation range. They say you have 150 meters, but I'm only getting about 60 meters. So I'm probably going to open up the transmitter and take out the antenna to see if I can get a bit more operation range. All right, now we can see the speed runs. Bye bye. Yeah, hello people. We are here with what it's called again. Rlaarlo car, yes. And we are doing a quick speed test, first on 2S and then on 3S. I'm going to talk some thing about this car before the speed test. So But now I'm here and doing speed test, so let's just do it quick because it's coming rain later. I think we will get about 60 kilometers per hour on 2S and about 80 kilometers per hour on 3S. If the transmitter is working alright, I'm not sure. Let's see. It's very sensitive on the steering. Oh, I'm not sure how good range it has. The throttle is very bad, really, because you first get very little speed, then very high speed. It's like a ketchup effect, like they're talking about. Let's see what we got. Well, I can't complain about the speed. It's 68.7 kilometers per hour on 2S. That's crazy fast. But the throttle is really bad because in the first it's no throttle at all. And then suddenly it comes. So I press the throttle and you see no response from the car. Then I give a little bit more and it goes very slowly, almost like a crawler. And suddenly it just boink. So the throttle curve, or what they call it, should be much better. And the steering is so sensitive. Now I have the steering rate down at 0. Oh. Oh, it cut off. Why it cut off? It's losing, I think it's losing signal. Let's see if it's got it. There. Yes, that's enough speed runs on 2S. I have a only bad thing to say about the transmitter, the receiver, how it's set up with the throttle response and also the steering and also the range. But if it's something good to say, it's the speed. Alright, we got 68.7 kilometers per hour on 2S. That's really quick. We're still on 2S. I'm just doing some acceleration test there. One bad thing, I discovered that this car got plastic spur gear. So I already emailed to Rlaarlo and see how their response is. But at least we now know that this transmitter and receiver don't have the bug with not giving maximum throttle when I give maximum throttle. It almost wants to wheelie just on 2S. This is 2S. It also have a bit delay in the response when I give throttle. You can feel it's a bit delay. I'm using WlToys wheels, so they are maybe a tiny bit larger than the stock one. That could maybe explain why I got nearly 70 kilometers per hour. Oh. Okay, now I was driving on 2S, and I know the engine is a bit hot also on 2S. Maximum speed on 2S 68.7 kilometers per hour. That's very good, but there are some bad things also, mostly about the transmitter receiver. Yes, the engine is too hot now really, and that it's just driving on 2S. So you shouldn't really drive this car for very long on 3S. The motor is too small, I think. That was maximum speed for a short period. The car started almost to wheelie. The range of this transmitter receiver is so bad. I think it's not 100 meters. It's around 60 meters or something. That's really bad. Yeah, I can't hold maximum throttle here for very long. Let's see what we got. We got 68.7. That must be wrong. Alright, we're ready for 3S. We got about 68 kilometers per hour on 2S. I had a few runs already on 3S, but the GMS speed measure didn't work, so I have to do a few laps more. But now maybe the battery is not fully charged, but we will test. I hope we'll get about 80 kilometers per hour. The operation range on this transmitter and receiver is really bad, and the steering is almost ridiculous bad. But let's test. I think the operation range is just about 60 meters. Let's see what we got. That was 3 laps. We got 76.6. 76.6. Not quite 80, but I believe it could get 80 if the car was fully charged. Let's try again. It went up for a short time. What do we have? Still 76.6. Yeah, it does really on Prius. Oh, that was a car. I have to find my car. Oh, there it is. It almost ran over my car. That would be really silly. But I couldn't really complain because I didn't have totally control over it. Because when you are getting up to 60-70 meters, you lose the contact with the car. because of this transmitter and receiver are not working very good. So the really bad thing about this car is the transmitter receiver. How it's working or not working. The good thing is the speed, but the motor is getting really hot also on 2S. Yep, there I lost contact with the car. I couldn't brake. Not sure why. It could maybe be the ESC shutting off. I don't hear any fan, so I guess it was maybe, it could maybe be a power shut off. Oh, the motor is really hot. I believe it was maybe just the battery. If not, it was something else like the ESC overheating, but the ESC is not very hot. It's the motor that is hot. Alright, so that was the driving today. I did not get 80 km/h on 3S, just 76.6. So it was crazy fast on 2S, but I would expect 80 on 3S. But alright, I had done 2-3 speed tests before I get the GPS to work. So maybe I did lose a bit on the maximum speed on 3S today. So it's crazy fast on 2S and very good on 3S. But the operation range of the transmitter receiver is very bad. The throttle is very odd, very slow in the start, and suddenly it gets very at maximum. And the steering is very nervous. But that also of course a bit because of the short wheelbase.